Urgent Birds fan, look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest Birds news, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Eagles! Report Eagles attempted to trade for 26 TD QB from AFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles made a move to secure their backup quarterback position when they swapped former first-round pick Kenny Pickett to the Cleveland Browns as part of a trade that brought quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson to the defending Super Bowl champions. The player the Eagles actually wanted may have been someone else entirely. Fox Sports NFL insider Jordan Schultz reported on April 3rd that the Eagles were among a handful of teams who inquired about trading for New England Patriots backup quarterback Joe Milton, who was eventually dealt to the Dallas Cowboys. My understanding is since Joe Milton became available at the start of the offseason, teams that showed interest included the Raiders, Eagles, Giants, Steelers, and the Cowboys, Schultz wrote on his official X account. The Patriots had a better offer for Milton but chose to send him where he wanted out of respect for him, per source. Milton was dealed to the Cowboys along with a 2025 7th-round pick in exchange for a 2025 5th-round pick. Milton became odd footnote in NFL history. Milton created his own market when he led the Patriots to a 23-16 win over the Buffalo Bills in the regular season finale, his only career start. The playoff-bound Bills didn't play most of their starters, and Milton went 22 of 29, passing for 257 yards of total offense, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. While the game was meaningless in the standings, it was one that could very well change the course of NFL history depending how the next few years play out. The Patriots entered the game with a 413 record and the number 1 overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. All they needed to do was lose. Instead, lame duck head coach Jerod Mayo was allowed to coach his final game. Milton got a pretty stellar audition for the other 31 teams in the league, and the Tennessee Titans leapfrogged to the number 1 pick. The Patriots dropped to the 4th pick. Milton, 6'5" and 248 pounds, was a 6th-round pick, number 193 overall in the 2024 NFL Draft, but was only a full-time starter once over 6 seasons of college football at Michigan and Tennessee. In 2023, he threw for 2,669 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions to go with 292 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. Eagles have incredible stockpile of draft picks. It shouldn't come as a surprise the Eagles were in the mix for Milton. In the 2025 and 2026 drafts, the Eagles have 20 total picks, 8 in 2025 and 12 in 2026, with all the 2025 picks in the first 5 rounds. Philadelphia still has a decent situation at backup quarterback behind Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts. Just like Milton in New England, third-year quarterback Tanner McKee made his lone career start in the 2024 regular season finale. With Hurts and Pickett were both injured, McKee threw for 269 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions in a 2013 win over the New York Giants. In 5 starts over the last 2 seasons for the Browns, Thompson-Robinson went 14 and threw for 880 yards, 1 touchdown, and 10 interceptions, while completing just 6% of his passes. He was also effective running the ball with 35 carries for 187 yards and no touchdowns, while averaging 3 yards per carry. Pausing this news just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest Eagles Nation news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks, now let's get back to the news. Eagles urged to consider former $70 million safety on 1-year contract. The Philadelphia Eagles have parted ways with 2 members of their secondary in the last month, who most teams would die for with safety C. J. Gardner-Johnson and cornerback Darius Slay. Both players were front and center as the Eagles made their run to winning Super Bowl LAX on February 9th with a dominant defensive performance against the Kansas City Chiefs. The reasoning behind letting Slay go to the Pittsburgh Steelers on a 1-year, $10 million free agent contract isn't complicated. The Eagles have arguably the NFL's 2 best young cornerbacks in Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. Both were starters as rookies in 2024 and considered foundational players moving forward. With Gardner-Johnson, it's a little more complicated. The Eagles traded him to the Houston Texans via a trade on March 11th, along with a 6th-round pick in the 2026 NFL Draft in exchange for former first-round pick and offensive guard Kenyon Green. and a 2025 fifth-round pick. While the Eagles might make a move to add a safety in the 2025 NFL Draft to grow, with Mitchell and DeJean and Deej the secondary, so to speak, the Eagles might still consider a veteran safety on a one-year contract. To provide depth, one player Philadelphia should consider in a washed or not scenario is former Baltimore Ravens safety Marcus Williams, who was designated a post-June 1st release on March 12th. Washed or not. Facts. We should consider Williams has been one of the NFL's biggest free agent disappointments in the last few years. After he signed a 3-year, $70 million contract with the Ravens in March 2022, after spending the first 5 seasons of his career with the New Orleans Saints. When we go to the washed or not debate, the first and maybe only thing to consider with Williams is how injuries have impacted his game and if there's something he can recover from. In his first season with the Ravens in 2022, Williams had 61 tackles, 4 interceptions, 8 pass deflections, and 1 fumble recovery, but missed 7 games with a dislocated wrist. In 2023, Williams had 55 tackles, 8 pass deflections, and 1 interception, but missed 6 games after suffering a torn pectoral muscle in his left shoulder in the season opener, but opted against season-ending surgery. In 2024, he was benched twice for poor play before he missed the final 5 games as a healthy scratch. NFL careers don't typically go off the cliff over upper body injuries like the one Williams suffered, especially not at 28 years old. It might be worth a little digging on the part of the Eagles to see if Williams has reconsidered having surgery or what the results of a medical exam tell them. If he could even approach the form he had with the Saints or his first season with the Ravens' 19 interceptions in his first 6 seasons, a starting point could be a 1-year, $1.5 million offer. When Williams returned for the 2024 season, he evaded questions about his health, saying he did not remember his injury, the Baltimore Banner's Gianna Hahn wrote on March 12th. After the season, the Ravens and Williams reworked his contract so they would have to pay only $1 million in salary until June 1st and his $15,245,000 to $216 in dead money would be split. With $6,27,918 on 2025's cap and $9,298 on 2026. If the Ravens indeed designate him as a post-June run and release, they would save $1 million in 2025. Eagles receive unfortunate news that could derail Super Bowl repeat. It's been nearly 2 months since the Philadelphia Eagles won the 2nd Super Bowl championship in franchise history, and the team is likely still enjoying its moment in the sun. However, the Eagles received some major news on Thursday that will likely sober them up pretty quickly. There seems to be more momentum than ever to ban the Eagles' bread and butter play, the tush push, over. Concerns for player safety. Some teams, the Eagles included, believe it's just the NFL's latest mission to take away what's been deemed as a competitive advantage for them. Philadelphia runs the tush-push play better than anyone with a success rate of 81.3 measured by the play resulting in a first down or touchdown last season, including the playoffs. But according to NFL insider Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk, the play will likely be outlawed sooner than people think thanks to the league's new general counsel, Ted Elliott, who he says will most likely urge the NFL to finally ban the play. By flagging the play as a catastrophic injury waiting to happen, the league has intentionally or not activated the legal bat signal, Florio wrote. By introducing the vague possibility of a catastrophic injury on the tush-push, the eventual reality, if it happens, of a catastrophic injury makes those remarks a goldmine for proof of league liability. For that reason alone, it now seems obvious for the first time that the anti-tush-push forces will get what they want. There it is. Game over for the tush-push. And the lawyers will be the ones who make it happen, especially since that advice will mesh with what the league office seemingly wants to do anyway, according to ESPN's Kalen Kaler, because of remarks made by NFL Chief Medical Officer Alan Sills recently, where he reportedly presented hypothetical injury data to teams. Many of the league's other 31 owners are concerned that the injury risk is too great not to ban the play. It's all about health and safety, an unnamed owner told ESPN. Commentator Dr. Sills said, "It's not if, but when a catastrophic injury occurs." The NFL was recently set to hold a vote on whether or not to outlaw the tush-push play, but it decided to table it for a future date after learning it was not going to have the 24 of 32 votes needed to officially take action and get rid of the play, per Arimerov of the 33rd team. And now, Birds fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for Birds. I'll be back any moment with more Eagles Nation news. Fly, Eagles, fly.